Look, the latest Ant-Man film. Give me. You loved it. You loved it. Hey, who doesn't love Paul Rudd, man? You love Paul Rudd.
Okay, man. Okay, look, I'll just give a short
This
review.
is a casual version. I thought it was okay.
This is a diehard Marvel.
I thought it was okay without being like. No, don't get me wrong. Like it was average.
Okay. So I probably talked about it before. How Phase 4 has been pretty terrible. Everything from She-Hulk to Doctor Strange being a disappointment to Thor being a massive disappointment.
This was supposed to come out a couple of years ago, was it?
No. It's part of the release thing. But like, yeah, man. I think a lot of hopes were coming into this film that this is the start of Phase 5, right? This is going to be a new start. It's going to be they've finally introduced the big bad villain. It's going to be in Avengers. Yeah, Kang. Yeah.
You really think that people came in with like massive expectations for Ant-Man? Because I had no expectations.
Not massive expectations.
Like,
I think
Ant-Man's like there.
Because right now, with the quality that we've been getting, we're just like, mate,
give us something, right?
Even average standard Marvel movie would be great.
Okay. In the earlier phases, what's like an average one in your mind that was okay without being like amazing?
I think. Actually, no, Guardians did better than
the first one.
Yeah, the first one more than what they.
Was right.
But like, I guess that run from from Guardians to Endgame, right? That was an unbeatable run where you had so many.
I don't think you can come back from that.
Back to back movies were so great. They were good. I mean, at worst they were average, right? They were okay. And then now the quality has dipped so far below that even we're just pining for the average.
Yeah.
We're pining for just an average standard Marvel movie. And it just feels like, this one, I mean, there was a lot of problems with how... I mean, a lot of people said they liked Kang. Kang was cool. The acting, Jonathan Majors.
Okay, come on, man. Look,
really good.
Why they got to make a brother villain, man? You give us one thing.
It's a good villain, man.
Dude, that guy's got this forehead. I
think a lot of people had a problem with, like, looks like one big CGI fest. And
it was. Yeah.
And a lot of CGI wasn't that great. I mean, MODOK looked unfinished. I mean...
Yeah.
And that's...
Well, that was weird.
That was
like,
weird.
Visually,
it was odd. And... It was just, I mean, I didn't agree with how they portrayed some of the decisions. I'm going to spoil it. So some of the decisions about Kang and where he is and what happens to him in the story, I kind of didn't agree with. It kind of sort of neuters him a bit. But, I mean, I don't know where that goes from now, the Marvel Universe. Because, I mean, I've said for a long time, a lot of Phase 4 is indicative of a bigger problem at Disney. And that was, Kevin Feige, the boss of Marvel, didn't have the power he used to have when he was making those first 3 phases of the MCU. Now that power seems to have come back to him. But how many movies and shows have been affected? Because he's already pulled back on the amount of shows he's doing this year.
Which I think is a good thing, to be honest.
Yeah, it gives him, so he can focus more on them, right? That was the problem, that he's stretched too thin. Was this a remnant of the old sort of regime that sort of just released? In a state that it was, where obviously Kevin Feige didn't have as much say in it. Not sure, but I mean, he's got to do something special now to bring it back, right?
I guess what I'm saying is like, what would you have done for Ant-Man to make it memorable? Like, I think.
Well, here's the thing, right? Ant-Man's first 2 movies, they weren't these big epic. They were literally heist movies, and they evolved. It was very grounded in reality, right?
Yeah.
The first one,
I like the San Fran.
He wants to see his kid, so he has to steal this thing, and he gets his mates involved.
Yeah.
And then, like, this one is just like this big, sprawling, universe-bending sort of thing where he goes into the quantum realm, and it's really crazy, and there's this big bad villain there, and like, it's just... I just feel like it was too big. It lost the essence of what the Ant-Man character was.
Yeah.
And it affected the film, because it just felt like one big CGI fest.
Well, it was literally one big CGI
and fest. But the problem I see, right, is they've gone with the fact that Kang was stuck in the quantum realm as a story. And they had to tell that story at some point, whether it was in Ant-Man or Doctor Strange or something.
I think they picked not the weakest, but
it was probably the wrong franchise to go. I mean, Ant-Man does involve going into the quantum realm, but like, I don't know whether it should have been at this level. There probably was a different way to make this.
Yeah, look, I think I think when Marvel was at its height, this is a casual view, by the way, so take it or leave it. He's gonna get a lot of legs. I can see. It had an amazing villain.
Yeah.
Right. When Thanos was there,
Thanos
there's
was
just
boss.
like legit gravitas there, right? So, mate, like how many villains have like toys that people want to buy? I still like the god, like it's just symbolic, right? You have to have a good villain. So at least they've introduced what looks like their next villain, which is going to extend. So I think that's a start.
That's the start, right? I mean,
that's
they've
the
got
start.
Kang. He seems very terrifying in a way.
Yeah.
But where they're failing is that while they've introduced the villain, I just don't know whether the audience is really reacting well to this whole multiverse. It's a multiverse saga.
It's too much. It's I think
what I'm getting from a lot of casual viewers that I know, right, is that there's too much going on.
Yeah.
Mate. Like there's too much to understand what's going on. It's very simple before. With the first 3 phases. Oh, there's this, there's this big bad purple guy. He has this 6 stones of the, that are crucial to the universe. When he gets all 6 of them, mate, all hell's going to break loose.
Yeah. I agree.
This is a bit more different in that there's this guy that's jumping between multiverses. Someone dies. Maybe they're not dead. Maybe it's, they can go from another multiverse, come into this one. The whole idea, I said before it started, the idea of multiverse was going to be very difficult to, explain to Joe Schmo, right? And I think what you're seeing now is that with the decline of a lot of Marvel stuff lately is that, and also
because they've pulled this multiverse theme everywhere, right?
yeah, it's in a lot of their properties, but like that overarching multiverse sort of story is not connecting. I'm just telling you right now.
Yeah.
It's not connected to the wider audience. I guess a lot of the diehards are like, oh yeah, multiverse is sick. We saw, spoiler, we saw the different Spider-Mans. And that was cool. But like, I mean, I don't know whether it's connecting the whole thing on a bigger level.
Yeah, I think what's happened, and again, it's like Americanism for me, but like, you strayed away from film 101, which is having that emotive connection with the audience, right? So again, you achieve that by why do we like superhero movies? We love we want to be the hero. We want to hate the villain. Right? Very base principles you build kind of around that. And the more there's also an exhaustion of effects and all that sort of stuff. And if that is your trigger point there, and this is why you can watch the first couple of movies in Fast and the Furious, and towards the end, you're like, when you see these trucks going you're like, what the fuck is happening? Come on, dude, that's bullshit. Even like, you're like 7 seasons in, you're like, all right, I'm gonna watch it. But like, I'm not gonna enjoy. But that's what's happening. There's this exhaustion of effects, which seems to be the catalyst of what people are pumping out there, and there's this loss of connection of real storytelling, right?
I'll give you an example, right? So look at the characters of the first 3 phases. Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. He was selling weapons to whoever would buy him, and then he went through this whole thing. We got kidnapped. He had this, his conscious changed, and then he's not. He felt like he needed to become something more than just what he was doing, and that he became Iron Man. You have Captain America, whose values are very strong. That he was a scrawny little guy, but then he really fights for what's good. And then you saw the nuance in storytelling in the Avengers movies, and when they were together, like how they play off each other. Even there's like themes that are going on. All this was all the stuff that Kevin Feige put together, and then I just feel like none of that is happening right now. None of that nuance is there. None of that storytelling in between all that sort of stuff. Like none of the arcs are there, right? Those, for example, Tony Stark being a father figure to Spider-Man in the MCU. That's a big arc that had a lot of things that happen in, how he goes away in Infinity War, and Tony Stark feels really depressed after that and doesn't want to be involved in anything superhero related. And then he brings it back in Endgame, and then there's arcs to all this. It just feels like we don't know what the arcs are between these new characters. How does Miss Marvel... Do you think
that the new characters are just not as compelling as the old ones?
How does Miss Marvel
fit in,
connect to anyone? How does what was it, Hawkeye, the new Hawkeye, whatever? How does that fit in with any other? There's no, and that's where they've introduced Kang, but how does this all connect? We've seen little semblances in Shang-Chi, with the band. maybe they somehow are connected to Kang, and they sort of look similar to some of the stuff in
What's the next?
Ant-Man.
What's the next one?
Next one is Guardians, I believe.
Yeah, no, it is
Guardians of the Galaxy, the last Guardians movie. So, I mean, I don't even know if that's going to be connected as well, because that's supposedly the end of the Guardians franchise. So, I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, it's, while, yes, we've got Kang, I still feel we are directionless in the MCU.